very slowly into the 21st century. We couldn't get the router and the...
We're 8 minutes late. The internet, I think there's something wrong with my router. It keeps going off. So we were on the phone with Spectrum.
And
very disappointing.
Shutting it off, rebooting, shutting it off. Anyway, we're here.
If it was a dressage test, we would be eliminated.
Oh, yes.
Luckily, it's not. Hopefully, you guys will forgive us for being a few minutes late.
I'm not tech savvy, so there we have it.
We have a story. What happened to your finger, honey?
Oh, that's not a story.
Show us your finger. What happened to your finger?
I've hurt my finger.
How's it been riding with a hurt finger?
I'm not nearly as effective.
His middle finger, nonetheless.
It ended up in the blower, and the fan blades took off the tip. So,
yes.
But it was above the bone, just the meat. Got a few stitches, and I took Monday off from riding, and that was on Sunday, and then I started riding again on Tuesday. I have to put the rein in a different place, and
So Lucy, we have an air blower that we use to clean the cross ties.
I was cleaning the cross ties in the patio out in front of the tack room, and I was putting the blower over my head and switching hands. And anyway, the safety shield wasn't on it, and my finger went into the fan.
Yeah, it was bad because he was supposed to come home and help me do Facebook Live for the Rider Position Challenge.
And I made a phone call that said I was on the way to the ER.
Yeah, it's never a good day when your significant other calls and is like, I'm going to the ER. That's usually not a good thing.
That's not that big a deal.
But how is it riding handicapped?
I'm certainly aware that I'm compensating for some things. I can't really close my left hand, so it's more elbow and outward because I can't make a fist. But whatever, it's better than not riding.
Since you have a broken finger, are you going to show us the scrambled eggs motion? I have some reins.
Sure, I can do it. So that's whatever.
How do you supple your horse? Oh, it shows up very well with your.
Well, I can't close it. So I've got the rein, instead of having it out here on the digit where I normally do, it's really buried down in next to my thumb so that it stays away from my middle finger. And now it's got way more wrist and a lot less finger to make it happen.
Oh. Yeah, that's pretty good. That works.
So normally I would be doing it with my hand, with my fingers, and now I'm just doing it more with my hand.
I think that's typical rider, we just improvise. Even when we're hurt, there's no reason not to ride. So
yeah, my horses are going well. That 5-year-old's going super. Frankie's going well, and it's just I just want to go ride. So whatever.
Yeah, suck it up. Riders are tough. Okay, this week we always do on Mondays. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but every Monday we do an engagement post. This week's engagement post was, what is your ultimate riding goal? So for those of you guys that are here, put in the chat, what is your ultimate riding goal? What's your goal?
To suck less than I did yesterday.
Oh, come on. Something. I want a better goal than that.
Really?
What is your ultimate riding goal? Just to get a little better every day?
I like forming the bond with my horses.
I agree.
That's really, when that happens, whenever you get a new horse or whatever, and I make the bond, I love that part.
Oh, someone from Argentina is here. Daniel Maximiliano Miguez. Do you know him?
Argentina's a big place, and I haven't been there in a while.
Well, I thought it was your family or something.
I don't know. No.
Okay, Allison's ultimate riding goal is to get her silver. Someone says stay alive. That's her ultimate riding goal. Ride all my boys. Get to the Grand Prix. Second level soft transitions to be able to ride a Piaffe with Tadoka. Love it. Cool. Second level test 1. I think my ultimate riding goal is just to have that partnership, and that when you have those moments of connection and harmony with your horse where you just feel like you could do anything and your horse is with you and they're supple and they're soft and they're engaged.
That's calm and present with my horse. Yeah, just want to be with my pony.
Oh, Barbara says she wants to look like me in the saddle. That's very nice.
That's very nice to hear. And whoever said that about the numb foot, right? We've all got stuff. We've all you just
get on with it.
You just
Keep
go
riding.
Just go ride.
Yeah.
We all have things.
Yeah. I mean, I think that defines like true horsemen is that you just like you do it, whether your head hurts or you're tired or you don't feel good or you're upset or you're happy or you're injured, you just go to the barn and do what you can do. So I think that that unites all of us. So I wanted to give a shout out to everyone who's in the 30-day rider position challenge. It is so amazing and so fun to see all of you making progress, working on your position, participating in the Facebook group. We did a challenge last week, which was everyone had to pick a word and then a song to remind themselves about their position. And that was really fun. It's been really fun to see so many people in the challenge. You have to make an alignment shirt where you put basically a cross on the back of your shirt, and it really shows your alignment. And that's been really fun to see people doing. One thing that I wanted to talk about is videoing yourself when you ride. So this week at my barn, one of my other clients was there watching one of my students' lessons, and she like took a little video of the student riding and sent it to her. And this particular student was like so discouraged by her video. And I thought, wow, like that was a really good little clip and a good little video. And I think it's sometimes when you see a video of yourself riding, it's kind of sobering, but it's also really important and really good. And you have to like use it to get better, but also to motivate yourself. What's your advice on that?
Yeah, that was really difficult when I first started to ride to watch the videos of myself because I couldn't look at it objectively and not have an emotional reaction to it and just say, okay, these things are okay, these things are not okay. I'm going to work on the not okay ones. I just looked at it and felt terrible because I rode so horribly. And in hindsight, I realized that I just wasn't equipped to be able to look at it objectively. So it was difficult in the beginning, but now I'm okay.
Yeah.
And now I can use it as I don't have the emotional reaction to it like I did. I can just look at it as a training tool and look at it as a lesson and teach and look at it and go, okay, if I was teaching this lesson, I would say this, that, or the other thing, and sort of take my personal stuff out of it. And that was a hard thing.
Yeah. That's a good pointer. And I do think it's always important to look at the good, like you said, to see like, okay, like what's good in this video? What am I doing well? And then what are the things that I can improve? Because if you get so down on yourself that doesn't help you. Like it doesn't help you.
It doesn't. Being mean to myself about the videos really didn't help my riding. So it's never all bad and it's never all good. It's a mixed bag. Some of the things are all right, some of the things are good, some of the things need to be improved. And to be a bit objective about it was a skill to develop, actually.
Yeah. But that's always like the learning phase is painful. There's no way around that. And you go from what are the levels of learning? It's like unconscious incompetence. That's where you don't realize how bad you are because you've never seen a video of yourself. And then you go
consciously incompetent.
And that's like the dark black hole.
Right.
But you also, like you said, you have to take the emotion out of it and know that you have to go down to go up in a way.
And then you get to consciously competent where you have to think about doing it. And then you become unconsciously competent where, you can actually think about something else and your body's doing the right thing because it's feeling it. And that's operating, at a subconscious level. You do the right thing at this, and then you can start to really fine tune your riding.
Yeah. But I think it's so important to stay positive when you're on this journey because it is really hard. We're all trying our best. We're all trying to improve. But it is something that, takes time and it is really hard. And that's why it's so important, even little things like telling yourself, instead of saying don't look down, you want to tell yourself look up, and always turn it into something positive that you can work on and think about. And I think that that's really important.
And to answer Facebook user, can I go back to unconsciously incompetent? Yes, it would be fabulous, but no, because once you have the awareness, now you have the awareness. So yeah, no, there's no going back. Yeah, what's that thing? Ignorance is bliss, right? You don't know what you don't know, but once you know it, well, now you know it. You got to change.
Yeah. But that's what I'm seeing a lot in the 30-day rider position challenges, especially with crookedness. When people put that X on the back of their shirt and they see how crooked they are, now they've seen it and they want it to be fixed like tomorrow, right? And it's something that
it doesn't happen that way.
Right.
Change happens a teaspoon at a time, a millimeter. It's like laying varnish. It just a little bit and a little bit.
Yeah.
And yeah, whoever Linda there with the I'm no longer down on myself. Yeah, because what somebody can do, somebody else can do, right?
Right.
And we're all at a different level, and we're all just trying to be better than we've been. And being mean to you is not useful.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't help. And there's a balance of wanting to improve, but still having fun and enjoying it. And I think that's really important. Something that I always go back to is like when I get discouraged after a horse show, or when I just have had a hard ride, I go back to my why is. And for those of you guys that are watching, what is your why? Why do you ride? Why do you have horses? At the end of the day, it's not about, your score or looking good. It's about just loving to ride and having that partnership. And so, yeah, we want to get better, but you have to smile and breathe and have fun. Otherwise, it just doesn't go anywhere.
Yep. My life just is fuller with horses in it.
Yeah.
I just feel like something's missing when I'm not riding.
Yeah. It gives
so I ride.
Yeah. It gives you a reason to get up in the morning. It gives you a reason to like go to work even when your finger's broken, right. And you shouldn't be going to work.
Because somebody else rode with a cast against the doctor's orders. And the doctor was like 5 days. I was like,
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Exactly. We all love horses. Okay, let's answer some questions from people. Okay, Karen, groundwork question. My horse will sometimes paw in the grooming area. How do I make a correction to stop him pawing? Are you waiting for me to answer that one?
I'd love an answer for that.
Okay, so I think a couple of
yelling,
things.
Actually, when that happens.
Yeah, you can scold them. I don't like to feed my horses cookies in the cross ties because I think that a lot of times that encourages them to paw. What I'll do a lot of times is I will go up to the horse and ask them to take a step back and put their head down. Sometimes I'll even take them out of the cross ties and just work on it whenever they start, take them out of the cross ties. Whenever they start pawing, shake the leader up at them, make them back up, make them put their head down, pet them, tell them they're good. When they start pawing, say no, back up, put your head down. That's probably the best way to do it. And then once they kind of understand that they shouldn't do it, sometimes yelling at them can work.
Where are we?
Lori has a question. When he spooks, what should I do other than sit correctly to stay on? Do I chastise him, tell him good boy when he stops? Oh, that's a good question. What do you do when your horse spooks?
I always let them make the magic distance. So whatever spooked them, right? I let them get away from that a little bit. I never punish the spook because I do not want to be part of the problem. No. My horse is afraid, and I hit him for being afraid. Now he's afraid of me. So that's never a good idea. You just can't get after spooking horses. You have to lead them. You've got to take them to safety. So I don't throw away the reins, right? do a check and a half halt, and I try and get away from the scary thing quickly in a controlled way, but I get away from the scary thing and then slowly work back to it. Or if it was a truck or something and it drives away, then you take a few minutes and you just keep moving back to that spot. And I don't know that I necessarily tell him he's a good boy when he stops far enough away. I just take him a little bit away from the scary thing and then start back to work.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good point. Don't punish for spooking, but do get your horse back on the aids as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Because your horse needs to stay off your inside leg, bend to the inside. They have to be respectful of your aids. Otherwise, it's unsafe. So, another good thing is if you can catch the spook before it happens, that's the best. Like if you know that your horse likes to spook at the letter C in the judge's box, try to like turn early, leg yield, keep your horse and shoulder in, keep your horse off the inside leg.
And over 10, 12 minutes, you'll work them closer. As you keep working, I saw this great lesson. It was a storm in a covered arena, and there was lightning, and it was dark. The sun had set, right? The lights were on. And this horse was so nervous. And they just kept making exercises on a smaller circle. And by the end of the lesson, he was using the entire arena. The rain hadn't stopped. The roof was still going. The light and the horse was now focused on work.
Yeah.
And it was just really logical, methodical, slow, and patient. And boom, the horse was working.
Getting your horse on the aids.
Yeah,
and
it was really great.
Like if your horse is scared of something, the worst thing you can do in a lot of situations, like, is just go to that object and like make them go there, like force them there. That usually doesn't work. You kind of have to zigzag around and get them bending and get them off your inside leg and like gradually work your way there. You don't want to force it. Okay, here's another good question. We need to try to do some videos on like spooking. It's like a hard thing to video because you have to like.
You don't know what the horse is going to spook.
Okay, well, how about if I stimulate a spook?
Okay, you just jump out of the bushes while I come by. Okay.
And then we'll see how
we can do that on Mushu because I'm pretty sure he'll go.
And then we'll see how you handle the spook.
All right, Amelia's going to pretend she's a jack-in-the-box next week, and we're going to video me taking off across the arena.
We did do some good drone footage filming today. That was fun. He's the official drone flyer. So if you like my drone videos, we also just published second level test 1, I think this week on YouTube. Check out my YouTube channel. And there's good drone footage of that. Okay, here's a good question from Sophia. What would you recommend doing for a hot horse who, when asked to slow down, will do so for a few seconds, then speed up again? I've tried transitions, but he just jumps forward when asked to trot again.
I would do it on a circle and do it on a curve line.
Yeah.
I would really trying to work on getting the access there through the rib cage.
Yeah.
And making him more supple and using the curve line to do that. On a straight line, he's got, if he's straight stiff, he can get away from you easier.
Yeah.
So curve lines.
Yeah. So with a hot horse, every time you turn, it slows your horse down and it acts like a half halt. And turning on a small circle is a much more effective way of controlling tempo than just pulling back on 2 reins.
And then at the risk of sounding repetitive, I'm sure you've said it, hot horses, you want to keep your leg on. And so it's squeezy, and then it's still, it's not.
You're not gripping.
You're not gripping, but it has to come off a little bit, but not off.
Yeah.
Because if you then bring it back on, the hot horses have to get used to your leg there, and that also gives them a sense of security. And then they don't spring away from your leg.
Yeah. And the other thing with hot horses is that I tend to do less transitions on a hot horse. Like if I have a horse that's really hot, I just try to keep a steady tempo. Like if I get on a horse and they're really, really hot, I just trot, and I kind of count in my head and just trot around and bore them into submission.
Absolutely. Serpentines work a lot, and just keep going. And you're like, oh my God, this horse. And you're like, yeah. And you just keep going until the horse goes, oh, okay.
So if you have a lazy horse, on the other hand, that's when you want to be going like trot, halt, like lots of waking them up. But if you do like, if you get on a horse that's really hot and you just go like trot, walk, it's going to like fry their
You'll
mind.
get more excited.
So that's where training is tricky, and it requires experience, because there is a formula, like there is a pattern that we follow. That's the training scale, right? Like rhythm, suppleness, connection.
Is experience.
And every horse is a little different, and you have to ride a hot horse very differently than a cold or a lazy horse. And at the end, you want the same result. Like we all want to be riding Grand Prix and have connection and harmony with our horses, but there's many roads to Rome, and every horse you have to like find what works for them. And that's the fun of training, and that's the challenge of it. So, okay, let's see. There was a question. I'm working on my position. Today was my second time cantering, and my position went out the window. I hope this is normal. I'm going to keep on trying. Yes, absolutely. It's
Congratulations,
totally
because
normal.
that transition it's a big deal, because the horse changes so much right there, and that's why you lose your position. And time in miles.
Okay, another question. How can you give your horse a supportive leg but not squeeze too much and not pull to get back to a lower gait? So how do you not pull for a downward transition? Those are like the money questions.
That's why I was laughing so much. Can you move that so we can take
Okay, how do you give your horse a supportive leg but not squeezing? I would say what's important is that you want your leg to wrap around your horse. It's more like your outer thigh muscles, your glute med.
And you cuddled your horse with your leg. Like if you carried your puppy, or if you have children when they were little, you carry them. You don't squeeze the life force out of them, and you don't. Good luck to you.
Oh, that's a good way. Like holding someone's hand.
Yeah. So if that helps, but that's it. You're cuddling them with your leg, and then you contract those muscles, and then you squeeze and make that aid, and then you're cuddling it again, so that your leg doesn't come flying off and then poking when it comes back on. What was the rest of that?
How do you do a downward transition without
All right, but let's
pulling?
back up. And so to not do too much, well, when you do too much, you know you've done too much. So then you do a little less, or you do a lot less. And then you found out that you did too little, and then you did too much. And then the road narrows as you keep trying it. And not pull to get back to a lower gait.
So downward transition. How do you get from a canter to a trot to walk without pulling?
I do a lot of breathing and a lot of half halts, and I close my knee. Let's say I'm in the canter, right? And you've got the sweeping feel of that canter. I close my knee and I don't let my hip canter. If that doesn't work, I soften, fall, and then repeat and do it on a circle, and I'll spiral that circle in too.
Yeah.
Keep making that circle smaller, and keep repeating the close my knee, don't let my hip move, soften, and keep making the circle smaller till the horse trots, and then I reward them a lot, and then I repeat it.
Can you demonstrate your breathing in a downward transition?
I could. Do I have to?
Yes. You have to, because I hear you do it when you're riding,
right.
And everyone else wants to hear it.
So, and by the way, when you ride in a test, I'm going to give away trade secrets. Now the judges are all going to be watching me. You get busted a -2 when you use your voice, but you can breathe. So the reason I breathe like heavy, because when I do transitions in the show arena, I go, and my horse goes, oh, he's doing that thing where he wants me to go down in the gate. And it's just an easier way to get the transition done in the show ring. So that's just
But you do it even louder sometimes. Do it louder.
I don't know. I'm not on my horse. I'm not feeling it right now.
You
go. And my horse goes, oh, he's doing that thing. I should make a downward transition.
Okay, I want you all to practice that deep inhale, exhale, because what you'll feel.
And it does, it changes my weight too.
Yeah, it puts you down.
That brings my weight up, and when I exhale, it makes my weight lower, and the horse goes, oh.
Yes. So I think that's really the key. If you guys haven't noticed, I think the theme for tonight is if you want to slow your horse down, turn them. Like turn them onto a smaller circle. Later on, if you're in a test, right, you can't like do a tiny circle, but shoulder 4 or shoulder in, that's kind of the more advanced way to get that half halt to come through, because just pulling back on 2 reins, it never works. It seriously doesn't ever work.
And for those of you with the off the track thoroughbreds, that's how they make the horses go faster at the track. They pull on the reins, and then the horse pulls into the rein and they go. So pulling never works.
Okay. Let's see. What's the best way to build confidence in a rider after an accident? Baby steps.
Oh yeah, yes, baby steps.
I think baby steps, work with a trainer, have someone help you, and just do a little bit more every day.
Steps, right? So we say baby steps. What is that actually? What behavior are we actually going to be involved in to make baby steps? So go ride in a bullpen, stay on
or
a 20
just do
meter
groundwork,
circle, or
even
just do groundwork.
Or just walk, or like
yeah,
just start, getting on at the end of the ride after your trainer has ridden your horse.
So these types of things anyway.
Yeah. Or the other thing is to ride, like sometimes it's really hard to get back on the horse that you've had the accident on. So ride some other horses, like go to take some lessons on school horses so that you can get your seat back and your confidence back before you have to get on your horse. But it's always best to like err on the side of being, safe, because it is really hard once you have an accident. It's hard to recover from that, unfortunately. So the other thing that's really helpful is visualization and rationalizing it. If it was just like a freak thing and you've ridden the horse a lot, you need to get right with that in your mind. Like, okay, that happened, but it wasn't normal. And then try to find a cause, like what caused the accident to happen. There's always a reason for it. And how are you going to avoid that again? Because it's not good that happened. You can't just like go and do the same thing. Like maybe you need to lunge your horse every single day. Maybe you need to do groundwork every single day. It's a pain in the ass, but it's better that than having an accident. So you have to analyze what caused it, and if possible, try to avoid that. Okay, one more question. And then, are you coming to the gym? No. You can't come to the gym because of your finger?
I'm afraid of getting really, and then blowing the skin off because it's not quite attached.
He's not coming to the gym with me. I'll be going to the gym alone.
I don't know that.
Okay. Okay, one more question from Facebook. I'm working my horse. He's starting to curl. So my trainer suggested that I work on walk trot transitions, but only on a really long rein, and keep him going forward. He's been not keeping that canter for me. I think it might be finding my new leg position. What do you suggest? So it's always best to listen to your trainer. I think it's hard, there's a lot of things that we can kind of generalize, but it's always hard to like see exactly what's going on. And usually your trainer knows you and knows your horse the best. Curling is hard to fix. It's something that is tricky.
It's difficult. It's difficult to fix it because once a horse has been taught to hide away from the contact, you want to go take the contact, and the horse is like, but I know this trick. I can put my head back here and not hold the reins, not hold the bit. So it's tricky. What I tend to do is try and lift the neck up and then put my hands forward and then, ride around there for a while. And then he's going to come. And then I try and lift the neck and then put my hands forward and ride them towards the bit. It's a difficult thing.
But anything lateral, any kind of like leg yield or shoulder 4 where you're going inside leg to outside rein will help, and transitions.
Yeah. It's so I think about it like this, that I'm going to use my hands to reposition the horse's head and neck.
But then you have to ride your horse from back.
Right. Then you've got to ride it up. Then you got to ride those hind legs.
Because that's the problem with curling is that the hind leg isn't doing what it should do. There's no way to get your horse connected from back to front if they're curled behind the bit.
Yeah. So
you were yelling at me earlier this week on Luigi about that.
Might have happened.
It's tricky, horses because they can like curl and still be strong and stiff and not be using their hind end
and not be on the bit.
And they have their head on their chest, and then you have nothing. It's a challenge.
Yeah. Not so easy, that.
All right, everyone.
But other people have fixed it. You can fix it. It's not a death sentence or anything, but you definitely have to be aware that it does happen with your horse and take those steps. Like I said, it's repositioning the head, riding diagonal lines, curve lines, lateral lines, and making sure the horse is coming forward from behind.
All right. If you're in the 30-day rider position challenge, I'll be live on Sunday at 1:30. Are you going to be joining me this week?
Yes. Well, unless of course I put my hand.
You're going to be doing a scrambled eggs demonstration for the rider position challenge people.
Okay.
So keep up the good work. If you're in the challenge, we have about 2 weeks left, and I'm so proud of you guys for being in the challenge, for working on your position. So we will see you on Sunday if you're in the challenge, and if not, next Thursday. And
we'll be back.
Yeah. Thank you guys. You guys are all amazing. We love your questions. It's really fun to feel.
It's just great to be
like we're helping.
Yeah. Just talking horses.
Yeah.
Just talking horses.
It's very fun. So hopefully you all have a good evening, and we'll see you soon.